Hi everybody, ReichpoloTech here. Today I'm going to show you how to install an ignition coil pack on the zero-turn mower. Now, as promised, this is a video following another video I did last week on how to diagnose if your ignition coil pack is bad. So guys, if you find this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, and if you like it, hit that like button, and also please leave your comments and questions down below. Anyways, let's get down to it. All right, I'm going to run down really quick on the bolts that you're going to need to loosen or take out. As you can see here on the top, holding this guard on to the top of the flywheel here is a bolt that holds that screen on, or that guard on. All four of those are the first things that need to come off. And the reason we got to take those off is because we got to get this plastic housing on top of the engine off. The second thing we need to do is take off the air filter. So you're going to have to unscrew both of these, pop this plastic piece off, and take the air filter off. And after we get to that, the next thing that we're going to do is there's 4 bolts around the top of the engine here that are holding this plastic housing on. 2 on this side and 2 on this side. 1 here and 1 back here. It's a little harder to see. It's actually holding, it's behind this dipstick tube right here. It's on the back side there. That bolt back there has to come all the way out because it goes through the side of this dipstick tube at a plastic hole. So that one's gonna have to be backed all the way out. These other 3, as you can see at the bottom of this housing, there's actually a slot. So you can just loosen this one, that one, and the one in the back over here, and it'll just slide up without having to take those bolts all the way out. All right, so apparently what I didn't realize is to get this spinning wheel off right here, you also have to take off these 3, it looks like Allen head screws or star bit screws to get this screen off, because this plastic piece here won't come off around that. So that's the next thing I'm gonna do. All right, to make life a little bit easier, I went ahead and I took these 4 bolts out and removed this kind of radiator type thing. I think it's for the hydraulic fluid, but I'm not exactly sure. And then I took these 3 screws out here on top of this and set this over here. And now next I've got to, because I tried to get this plastic housing up and it kept hitting, and there was no way to get this thing finagled out of there without it hitting itself. So now I have to take this brace off, which is just 2 more bolts. So I'm gonna do that now. All right, so once I got these bolts loosened, I can take these out on both sides, and this bracket slide right out. All right, now that I've got all that off, let me focus in a little bit closer for you here. All right, so now this plastic housing will slide out of all the slots. By the way, the one that held the dipstick on, it had a slot as well. I didn't realize that, so I didn't have to take that one out all the way either. So let's set that out of the way, and that exposes the coil packs. Here's one coil pack, the one that's still good, and here's the other coil pack, the one that I'm replacing. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. All right, so one thing I want to show you really quick is this is a flywheel that spins around at high speeds. This little plate here is attached to the flywheel. This is the ignition coil pack. This distance between that flywheel and this ignition coil pack needs to be basically, a good rule of thumb is the distance of a business card. Now, that right there is pretty darn close, if you can see it in there. And actually, you know, that plate will spin around with this flywheel here. As you can see over on this one, the plate is not there right now in front of it. So the gap is actually quite a bit wider than a business card. But when that plate that's on the flywheel comes around, it gets extremely close to that to help create the charge. So anyways, a good rule of thumb, like I said, is the distance of a business card. So the first thing I did here was unplug the electric connection, and the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and pull out the spark plug connection on this side. Alright, so as you can see, there's the spark plug. So the coil pack is connected to the spark plug, just like our brand new one is. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is take your 10mm socket and start taking these bolts out. And then this post right here is just threaded on both sides. This nut right there is actually just a spacer. So you'll actually have to clamp the post either with the pliers, or in this case I'm using a vice grips, and I'll just loosen it, break the seal, and then I can spin it out by hand. Because that's one of the sides that holds down the ignition coil, so it does need to be tight down to it. And then next thing you can do, pull off the old ignition coil. And then you grab your new one, just like this. Make sure your wire connection side's on the top here, and go ahead and pop it in against. Now, once again, I want to show that right there is the metal piece that the flywheel goes. So because this coil is magnetic, it will go ahead and it will suck right against that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the business card and I'm gonna throw it in there between it to give the gap that we want, and then go ahead and put my bolts back in and tighten them down. So there we go. There's one side. Now for the post on the other side. Down by finger, and then I'll go ahead and clamp it and get it tight. All right, now I should be able to spin the flywheel here one way or another and get that business card out of there. And that should be the perfect distance away as you can tell. Sorry, let me back up here a little bit. As you can tell, it's very, very close to that metal piece there. but it's not touching. Very, very close though, the thickness of a business card. So there you have it. Next thing you would do is you would take and you would plug back in your spark plug wire to your spark plug. And there you go. Unfortunately, you still have all those bolts and all those pieces that you took off to put back in. But there you have it. That's it. That's how you replace your ignition coil. One more thing that you want to make sure you do before you start putting it all back together again is reconnect your electrical connection here. All right, now time to put it all back together. All right guys, if you found this video useful or helpful, please hit that like button for me. Also hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified first when I upload new videos, and I'll keep on making new videos. Also, leave your questions and comments down below in the comments and I'll try to get back to you guys. Have a great one everybody, I'll see you later.